They used to call him the co-ed killer in Santa Cruz, California, where he murdered women and then dismembered their bodies and took them home to have sex with the different parts of their bodies. He once buried severed heads under his mother's window at home and then would make little remarks to her like, "Mom, you know, people around the neighborhood really look up to you." He was originally incarcerated for killing his grandparents when he was 15 years old, and then he was released at age 21 and ended up killing 8 more women.
The case of Ed Kemp, convicted serial murderer, is one of Michael Newton's favourites. He's the author of Hunting Humans, one of an ever-increasing library of books that explore this grisly phenomenon. Newton has been fascinated by killers since he was a boy. The ashes of one executed murderer are buried in his garden, but even he has been disturbed by some of the new material that has been published recently. One popular subject has been Jeffrey Dahmer, who killed and then ate a succession of young men in Milwaukee.
I've seen a comic book which was the third, I think, Jeffrey Dahmer comic book, which is called Jeffrey Dahmer versus Jesus Christ, and you have this little skinny nude Jesus in a wrestling ring going round and round with Dahmer, and they end up, you know, tearing each other literally to pieces, and there's feces flying all over the place, and it's not really something you'd want to take home, but I suppose there must be a market for it.
And indeed there is. Take a stroll around St. Mark's Place in New York, where the street fashionable hang out, and you'll see all manner of macabre serial killer kitsch on sale. St. Mark's Comics is a store that claims to carry everything published, and the owner, Mitch Cutler, is happy to stock the more gruesome end of the market.
There are trading cards, there's a serial killer board game, there are serial killer books.
Let's just see what you got here. You've got packs of cards. This is True Crime 2. We've got Crime and Punishment with a picture of Manson on the front of it. What else is there?
Oh, the big hits with the Bloody Visions trading cards. They're actually probably about a dozen different sets of serial killer trading cards and related, but they go real quick.
Now, as I walk down St. Mark's Place here, I can see Charlie's Devils, Manson T-shirts, and Jeffrey Dahmer T-shirts. Have you ever stocked those?
No. There's a line between reporting on what these people have done, which is what the cards do. I mean, they show an illustration and they talk on the back, and sometimes in a less than reverent manner about the things these people have done. But at no point are they glorifying it. And somehow wearing shirts that's somehow it's a different feeling. I don't feel like I'm encouraging anyone to go out and kill anybody. I don't see carrying it as a personal endorsement.
Mitch claims that the majority of those interested in these products are female, and women do seem to have a strange fascination for serial slaughterers. Some of America's most evil killers, says Michael Newton, are courted by members of the opposite sex.
Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, even old obese John Gacy. I mean, they get proposals in prison. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker in California, had so many women lined up to visit him at San Francisco jail that they had to cut off his visiting privileges. The women were getting in fist fights outside the jail over who would get to see him first. It's really a bizarre phenomenon. I think it's obviously something deficient in the individuals who find themselves drawn to this kind of a character. It may be worth noting, for whatever reason, that most of the women who sent nude photos of themselves to Ted Bundy while he was waiting to be executed very closely resembled his victims, with long brown hair parted in the middle and the same general facial and body types. Why they were drawn to him, I don't know. I think to some extent it may be that they feel this individual is safe. They're flirting with danger, and yet he's as safe as he can be because he's never getting out of jail. He may soon be put to death.
When you go to visit these people on death row, they lock you in a room with them, much like the room I'm in now. You're locked in there for like 8 hours, and there's no guards. Well, I went in there, basically, my intention was to attack John Wayne Gacy physically, and I was going to beat the hell out of him. But I never did it because me and John became friends. I'd never believed him. I never thought he was cool. But at the same time, he was interesting enough because he obviously had no heart. He had no feelings for people.
Don McLeod is a rock singer who goes under the name of Bloody Mess. He's corresponded with a number of killers in prison and even visited one, John Wayne Gacy, who was convicted after 29 bodies were found horribly mutilated under the floorboards of his home. Bloody Mess commissioned Gacy to draw the cover for his band's first single and finds musical inspiration in the exploits of America's most notorious.
Every line in the song, I decided to talk about these famous killers in America, everyone from Charles Manson to Richard Speck to Jeffrey Dahmer to Ted Bundy. I just thought it'd be interesting to put them all together in one song and sort of like they're like Satan's little cheerleaders for death, you know. And give me a D, give me an E, ATH, you know. And I just thought it'd be almost humorous to put a song together about that. There's a little bit of hype behind everything we do, any musician, actor, anybody. But the thing is, I'm genuinely interested in this, and I really don't care who is shocked by it, because I get off on it. I think it's fun to collect the stuff, and so I thought it went hand in hand. Shock rock, shocking artwork, why not, you know?
Drawings and sketches produced by serial killers are collector's items and can sell for thousands of dollars. Autographs, handwritten poems and other personal effects are also in demand. There are even reports of murderers' toenail clippings being offered for sale on the underground trading network. Bloody Mess regularly gets letters from fans who want addresses of jailed killers.
It's a morbid curiosity. A lot of people go to college or university to study the criminal mind or the psychological motives behind these bizarre killings and these sex acts. But for me, it's basically the same thing, except I eliminated the middleman entirely and went straight to the source. And it's been a big inspiration to find out how these people tick and what makes them tick. If I could push the button to have these people executed right now, I'd be the first guy to press it. But as long as they're alive, hey, I want to find out what the deal is with them, you know. And why should I go to college just to find that out?